What would you do if a building you were in collapsed and you ended up under piles of debris and rubble? A. Light a fire. B. Calm down and cover your whole head with a piece of cloth. C. Move fast, trying to get out from under the rubble. You have only 5 seconds to choose the right answer. If you've picked B, you're absolutely right. Being trapped, don't panic. Take off your shirt and tie it around your whole head. It'll prevent you from choking on dust. If you're outside with no shelter in sight and you see a rapidly approaching tornado, do you A. Climb a hill or some other elevation? B. Run away lightning fast? C. Lie down in a ditch and make yourself as flat as you can? The only correct answer is C. If a tornado is moving towards you and you realize you don't have time or a place to escape to, find a ditch or some low place, lie down, and cover your head with your hands or clothes. What would you do if you were indoors when an earthquake started? Hey, been there, done that, but that's for another video sometime. Would you A. Rush outside and move away from the buildings? B. Hide under a sturdy piece of furniture? C. Run up to the window to see what's happening? The only way to save your life is to hide in a safe spot, which is answer B. Stay away from glass or anything that might fall on you. If you fell through the ice into the water on a freezing winter day, you would A. Take off your clothes. B. Try to break the ice and get out to the shore. C. Get out of the water from where you fell in and roll across the ice toward the shore. The correct answer is C. Grab onto the edge of the ice and use your elbows and forearms to lift yourself up. Then kick your legs to propel yourself onto the ice and roll towards the shore like seals do. If you're falling from a cliff, do your best to break your way down to several parts. The shorter the better. Each of the segments will absorb some impact of the fall, and you'll have much higher chances of surviving. Try to grab onto a sturdy object like a bush or a rock on your way to the bottom to slow down your movement. A piece of wood or a plank can also be useful. It might help you to soften your fall when you hit the ground. If your pan has caught fire, don't take it outside or try to put the fire out with water. It'll worsen the situation. Cover the flames with a metal lid. This way, you'll take away the source of oxygen. Your movement should be fast but smooth and calm. Remember to keep the lid between yourself and the flames. Leave it on until the pan has cooled. If a fire is tiny and manageable, you can use salt or baking soda to put it out. By the way, using baking powder, flour, and other cooking powders that look like salt or baking soda is a big no-no. They won't help you because their chemical makeup is different. If you find yourself in a panic-stricken crowd, your main task is to create some space around yourself. To do it, keep your hands by your chest, your arms bent at the elbow. Boxers often use this position to protect their vital organs. Don't cross the crowd's path. Move together with it, slowly drifting toward one of its sides. Be careful not to block anyone's way because, in this case, you can be pushed to the ground. If you're with your family, put the kid on your shoulders and let the weaker members of the family go in front of you. This way, you'll be able to control the movement and won't lose anyone. If someone's attacking you from behind on the street, stomp on their foot. Do it with all the strength you have and aim for the top of the foot. It can damage and even break several foot bones, which will make it difficult for the attacker to follow you. Now, if you get locked in a car trunk, try to send an SOS signal to people outside. To do it, look for the taillight's wires. There are usually at least 2 of them for each light. Find something sharp in the trunk and cut one of those wires. When you connect the ends again, the lights will flash. If your car brakes suddenly stop responding, ask the passengers, if you have any, to make sure their seatbelts are buckled. Then turn on the emergency lights. Inform other drivers you're having an emergency by using your car horn and long-range lights. With strong and abrupt moves, press the brake pedal. That's how you can create pressure in the braking system. After that, downshift carefully and put the gear shift into the L position. If your car has a mechanical gearbox, press the clutch pedal. After that, use manual brakes, but do it very slowly. A sudden movement and your car will begin to drift. To slow your car down, you can also try to turn left and right going from one row to another. Alright Houdini, I hope you'll never find it useful, but it's always good to know your way out. Use any kind of wire-like material. Even paper clips or hairpins will do the job. Put the end of the wire into the keyhole and bend it at a right angle. Then pull it out a bit and bend it in the other direction. Then stick it into the very edge of the keyhole following all the bends. Move it around a bit and it will eventually open the lock. Trust me. How do I know this? That's a good question. Assuming you don't have anything sharp around and can't use your teeth, you can still free yourself using only your shoelaces. Untie your shoes and make a loop with laces around your left foot. Then pull a shoelace around the rope and tie the end of it to your right foot. Move your legs as if you were riding a bicycle. This way the shoelace will eventually cut the rope with friction and you'll break free. We won't ask how you got that way in the first place. If you spotted a shark in the water, it doesn't mean it's going to attack. If it passes by in the distance in a straight line, you have all the chances to get calmly away to the beach. Just don't start to panic and move steadily. If the shark is going your way in zigzags, then you know you're in trouble. But you can fight back. The weakest spots on a shark's head are gills and eyes. Most sharks won't try to fight you. They'll just swim away. That really bites. First of all, have some clothes on. No wait, that's a different spelling of bear. Never mind. Let's talk about the animal kind of bear. First, don't provoke the bear. They naturally don't see humans as their prey if they aren't starving after a long winter's nap. If you run, you're telling them that you are food. Move slowly and always leave an escape route for the bear. Try to make yourself look bigger than you are. Spread your coat wide, stand on your tiptoes, but don't be aggressive. Just make the bear think that it's better for it to go mind its own business. If you're calling an emergency service, first of all, give them your address. Only after that should you explain the reason for your call. In this case, even if something or somebody forces you to end the conversation, the operator will already know where to send help. If you get disoriented after diving and can't figure out which way you should swim to get back to the surface, exhale. The bubbles will start to rise, and all you have to do is to follow them. Any scratch or bite received from a wild animal can lead to rabies. Within 10 to 15 minutes after the accident, you should thoroughly wash the wound and rush to a hospital. Every next hour lowers your chances of survival. If you're crossing the road and see a bright sun reflection on the windshield of an oncoming car, chances are the driver won't see you. Let them pass, even if, according to the road rules, you have the right-of-way. Always plug your nose when you jump into a lake or a pond from high up feet first. The water could be swarming with dangerous one-celled animals, and the most horrifying among them is something known as the brain-eating amoeba. If you don't plug your nose, this amoeba can get into your nasal cavity with a powerful stream of water. From there, it can reach your brain and, as you may guess from its name, this won't end well. On the other hand, if you simply swallow this one-celled organism, it won't harm you whatsoever. If you've heard about an approaching tsunami when you're on a boat or a ship at sea, try to move to deep water as fast as you can. The safest depth is 150 feet or more. The thing is that in the open sea, tsunami waves can reach a staggering length of hundreds of miles, but they're usually no more than several feet high. On the other hand, far from the shore, such waves usually travel at a breakneck speed of up to 500 miles per hour. But when a wave is getting closer to the coast, it slows down to 30 miles per hour and grows in height. If you're a surfer and a tsunami is nearing, paddle towards the shore and run toward the highest place you can. You might still have several precious minutes until the tsunami hits the beach. If the tsunami is drawing nearer while you're far from the shore, paddle towards the horizon to the deep sea. There, you might not feel the devastating effects of the tsunami waves that much. Plus, you'll have a flotation device. Also, in the open sea, you won't have to worry about being hit by debris. Finally, if you've managed to paddle away from the shore and are out of danger for the time being, don't hurry to return back to the beach. Wait for at least a couple of hours. Tsunamis tend to last for a while. A tsunami's waves can travel at a speed of 20 to 30 miles per hour and reach a height of 10 to 100 feet. They can surge up to 10 miles inland and cause catastrophic flooding, which damages all kinds of transportation and communication and destroys the fresh water supply. About 80% of all the tsunamis are born in the Pacific Ocean's Ring of Fire, which is a seismically active zone with 452 volcanoes and the world's largest number of earthquakes. Coyotes are rather reclusive animals that don't enjoy or seek the company of humans. They wouldn't move closer to us by choice, but as cities are growing and pushing into what used to be wild areas, people are the ones moving closer to coyotes. Now, these canines aren't as afraid of humans as they used to be and feel safe roaming around backyards, even with the homeowners nearby. They've already realized there's food in human neighborhoods, and they don't mind helping themselves to it. It could be something out of the trash, the garden, or worst-case scenario, your pets. If there's just one coyote watching you, it may be doing this out of curiosity. However, if you have a dog that's smaller than the coyote, who knows what might be going through this invader's mind? Bichon steak, my favorite. A pack of coyotes, which is fortunately a rarity in cities or suburbs, is a whole other ballgame though. When there's a group of them, what do they have to fear? Luckily, cases of coyotes attacking dogs are very uncommon. But still, it's every pet owner's responsibility to keep their furry friend out of harm's way. So here's how to protect your dog from coyotes. Don't leave your dog unattended. If you live in a high-risk area, always keep an eye on your pooch, even when it's playing in your own backyard. Genetically, dogs and coyotes have a lot in common, so they're naturally attracted to each other. That means it's not always the coyote chasing the dog. It can be vice versa. If your pet spots a coyote across the fence, it might decide to beeline straight for this unfamiliar visitor. When you're going for a walk with your dog, keep it on a leash. A non-retractable kind is your best bet because you'll be able to control your pet and keep it close in case of a rendezvous. Those wild hunters are still mostly afraid of humans, so your close presence will serve as a protective shield. If you have a little dog, it's even better if you pick it up when things get dangerous. Plan your walking route wisely. One of the best things you can do to avoid running into a coyote is avoiding areas that are known to have plenty of them. Coyotes don't like bright light, so walking on a well-lit street or path is a good idea. If that's not an option, take a flashlight with you and create your own source of bright light. Be more careful at certain times of the day and year. Baby coyotes are born in spring, so their parents get way more protective and thus dangerous from April to August. That's when they're on high alert to keep their cubs out of danger, even if that danger is just your goofy beagle running up to try and make a new friend. As for the time of day, they're most active at night. By nature, they like to get around during the day, but urban life has changed coyotes. They've adapted to sniff around when the sun's not out in hopes of not getting spotted by humans. That's why you should keep an extra eye on your pet if you prefer to walk it just after sunset. Don't feed wildlife. The main thing that brings coyotes to areas filled with humans is the search for food. So don't be surprised by a visit if you leave something tasty out for them. And if they get it once, they'll come back for more. For the same reason, don't feed any of your pets outside. Any leftovers become a source of risk. Even birdseed can cause you trouble because rodents come after it, and they're an easy catch for coyotes. If you encounter a gator, wally or not, on dry land, the first step is to run. Probably don't need a reminder on that. One standard piece of advice is to run zigzags to keep the beast from reaching full speed. But some experts say that isn't necessary. Alligators are surprisingly fast, capable of breaking 25 miles per hour in a sprint. but don't have very much in the way of endurance. Even if it looks like one is gaining on you, they'll usually get tired and give up quickly. That's assuming it even bothers to chase you down in the first place. Alligators are ambush predators that prefer surprise attacks from underwater to lengthy overland chases. They're most dangerous in the water and are much more effective at drowning their prey than taking them down with tooth and claw. Prey fleeing over the land will be hard for them to catch and difficult to overcome. So most don't even bother. Anything an alligator doesn't catch in the first lunge is probably a lost cause. At that point, most gators will slink off back to their hiding spot and wait for something else to come along. Really, they're a good deal lazier than they are intimidating. But what if one manages to catch you by surprise? Let's say you're fishing on the edge of a lake and don't realize that drifting log is 600 pounds of scales and teeth. An American alligator can slam its jaws shut with almost 3,000 pounds of force, triple that of a lion or tiger. The best way to deal with an alligator is to run, but that isn't an option once one has clamped itself to your leg. At this point, your only option is to fight back with all your strength. Attacks like this are very rare, but those who fall prey to them can be seriously injured or even lose their life. Your one advantage is that you want to live more than the gator wants to eat you. The more you struggle and the harder you resist, the less appetizing you become.